Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's Saturday morning, 6 a.m. here in sunny old Kiuna, or Kahuna if you're not a local. It's Saturday, the 2nd of September. The weather is not too shabby, to be honest. A little bit of cloud, a little bit cooler with the second day into spring here. So things are looking up. Today, I reckon by the comments here, looking at Ron, who I believe Ron's a reasonably good fella. If you've watched my stuff for long enough, you know this isn't a divisive thing. This is me just telling you what I see. Anyway, I had to translate this. I go ahead and translate this fellow's comments on YouTube and kind of makes my point. Anyway, let's bring on. Well, today we're going to talk about if Android people are a little bit more aggressive on socials than what iOS users are. And this is my case in point. One of the nicest people I know. He's a Canadian, eh? And he'll say sorry about everything. And he uses an iPhone. How you doing, man?
And I'm old as dirt.
Old as dirt. That's not what I said before.
You do a way better job at the intro than I do. I can tell you that.
Hey.
Hey.
We did that last week for anyone who didn't watch it last week. We went live and we kind of swapped roles and Greg did the intro and it was
horrible.
Yeah, so today we're talking.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Morning, Ron. You kind of get the point that I'm raising here, Ron. And this fellow, from what Patrika has said, is Vladimir. He's kind of said that this conversation is Nazism or something. That's about all the breath I'm going to give to that. iPhones are just better. I don't know about that. You don't know any better. Look at Patrika coming out of his cage. He just loves it. He loves a good fight. Cage. Yeah. Straight out of the cage. Morning, Dale. Yeah. I reckon Dale's got a phone sitting out on his balcony right now doing a time lapse as the sun comes up. Vipin Myrna, is it Indian flag? I reckon that's Indian flag. It is an Indian flag.
I think so, yeah. Looks like it.
It was one of my favorite subjects in school, in high school, I reckon, flags. And I reckon I could get, when you get these random quizzes turned up on social media, it's like, could you identify these flags? I usually get most of those right. I think I know most flags. It's only when people go to war with each other and then they split off into different countries. I don't know what that one is now. They've made a new one. Jason Stevenson.
Hello, Jason.
Black and white long exposure guru. He's right now. He's going. He knows who I am now. There's no hiding.
Yeah.
How's life in your world, dude?
Not bad. We had some pretty cool weather here, but now it's actually going to warm up. It's going to get up to almost 30 degrees by next week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, Celsius. It's not winter yet. But we've had some really clear skies, and boy, the moon that we just had, that full moon, it was just outside our back door, and wow, was it bright.
Yep.
It was probably one of the brightest moons I've seen in a long time. Pretty cool.
Yeah. You don't really need to have an app to tell you what the moon phase is, or a calendar to tell you what the moon phase is. Right, realistically, all you need to do is be part of the Bloody Legends Facebook group, and you can tell when the full moon's coming.
Yeah,
you guys just hammer it. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
One of those would be mine somewhere.
You did too. You want to talk about that? That was a good idea.
Oh, sure. Okay, so I've tried moonshots with my iPhone before, and as we all know, it sucks. But I put the shift cam telephoto lens over the telephoto camera of the iPhone and opened reflex so that I could, lock focus, all that stuff. And then I actually zoomed a little bit, and I know that's a no-no, but I didn't go all the way out. Well, I did try one all the way out, but the one that I posted, I think I only went out about halfway. And then I adjusted the EV so that it wasn't overblowing the moon, whatever. And I got the best shot I could get with it. And the secret to this one is in the editing. I did Lightroom Mobile and, dehaze, whatever I could do to get it to look as best I could. And then what I did was I took it into Photomator and I hit the super resolution.
Yep.
So I doubled the resolution. Now what I did was then I cropped it back down to 12 megapixels. So the moon is actually twice as big in the frame as it was in the original shot. And then that's what I posted.
It's pretty impressive for an iPhone.
For an iPhone, you know what? I was pretty happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I've noticed, I'm not sure if other guys here hey, Nicola. Sorry, Patricia. It's him taking the piss. I don't know if anyone here is on the Samsung S23 Ultra photography Facebook group. But what I've seen on there recently, and I'm going to have to try this now that I've seen it, the photos of the moon tend to turn to crap when it's really close to the horizon. So I think that the AI might be struggling with the foreground and stuff. It might be, I'm not sure. It's just something that I've seen on that group. When it's up in the sky like what your photo is here, they're getting wonderful shots from that camera system. But a lot of them there with the foreground, it's just struggling a lot. I think when it goes to that hyper zoom, that like 30 times, 40, 50, 60 times, I think it struggles a little bit with what else is in that photo that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, that could be.
I think we've done enough on the whole, is it real or is it not sort of situation. And I think everyone sits hard in their own camp as to whether it's real or whether it's not. And if it's not real, is it a bad thing? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, we had that discussion before, so no point in
no point rehashing.
Yeah.
So the whole thing of today is we've explained this before, and chances are the same people who watch the live stream watch it all the time. Is that fair to say, you reckon?
Yeah, there's a lot of regulars, I'd say.
Yep. And you know how these conversations generally go. We come up with a small little idea and we talk about that for 3 or 4 minutes, then we just talk shit for another 45 minutes. Fair to say? And this time I actually couldn't come up with an idea. I ended up coming up with one, obviously, because we've got one. But I said to Greg, let's do this, because I'm sick of seeing these comments. And what happens is, to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, if you like, of a YouTube creator. When I first started this channel, I would answer and respond to every single comment that I would get. That's how you build a channel. It's how you build a community. And you might do a video, say, I don't know, I've got some videos there that have got almost 500,000 views on them. And there might be a couple of thousand comments in there. It's a lot of comments that you've got to respond to. And you get to the point where you go, I don't know, say it's an iPhone, for example, and it's about a shot of the galactic core, and anyone who uses an iPhone knows that you put it on a tripod, go into night mode. Because it's on a tripod, it gives you 30 seconds. But if it's not on a tripod, it only gives you 10. And the amount of times that I get asked that same freaking question, how do you get 30 seconds? How do you get 30 seconds? Even though you describe it in the video, still you see it a lot in there. But what I see so much more than those sorts of repetitive comments, we have a very good community in our Facebook group, right? I think you would agree with that. It's a pretty...
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone takes a good photo, people will say that's a great photo, and they won't give a flying toss as to what phone it was captured on. There's brand loyalty, I guess, but there's also an appreciation of what you've been able to capture on your device. And what I see more than anything else is negative comments, not about me. You get those, and that happens. That's part of being you put yourself online. That's kind of what happens. And you're never going to meet these people, so you don't really give a shit. But the negative comments are usually about the phones, as in, oh, that's useless. That particular device, that brand is shit. You should be buying one of these. And it's the whole point of the conversation that I wanted to have today, because it happens a lot. In fact, that comment right there, go ahead and translate it. It's not a positive comment. And what I do, I was explaining to Greg before, what I do with when non-English, because I only speak English, when non-English folks comment in their own language on YouTube, I actually copy it and go and paste it into Google Translate and end up with that sort of thing. And this is a pretty tame sort of a comment, but it's the crux of what I'm talking about here. Yes, iPhone 14 doesn't take good pictures. Samsung is better. What I never get is an iPhone person saying Samsung shit, it doesn't do this very well, or Huawei shit, it doesn't do this very well. Have you ever seen that, Greg?
God's honest truth, no, I haven't. I've seen what you're talking about though, with some of the Samsung users and whatnot in different places, whether it's on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, or even on Instagram pictures in the comment sections on some of them, you know, things like that. That's where you see it. And I cannot recall seeing the comment where an iPhone user, I shouldn't say I can't recall. I think I might have seen one or two, but I mean, it's such an edge case. It's unbelievable. But it's definitely, it really pales in comparison to the times I've seen it coming from a Samsung user or a Huawei user or whatever. Like, and it kind of hurts me in the heart to think of the fact that people are actually doing that. You know, the mobile community is something that that you and I have said, it's such a friendly space. And like you said, in the Facebook group, it's, you know, it's like a couple of thousand pals getting together and sharing their love of photography. You know, that's how it's seen.
100%. It's just it's something that I notice, and it happens. If I've got an iPhone video that goes off, I would say probably 1 in 5 to 1 in 10 comments are about how shit the iPhone is and you should buy a Samsung. I get lots of comments about people asking me to try different phones, and that's not the same thing. But when you're putting down the product to try and build up another product, this isn't the US political system, or the Australian political system for that matter. You don't need to put something down to try and make yourself look better. It just call it what it is. Like the whole videos, all the videos that I do, if I say shoot a video about how to take photos of the moon with your iPhone, the pretense of that is that you have a fucking iPhone, and don't go out and buy an iPhone to do it specifically to do this, because there's better options out there. But if you do have one, this is how I would do it. That's the whole point of those videos. But then you get you go and have a look at some of the moon photography videos I've done for iPhone. It is full of people going, that shit, need to buy a Samsung, that shit. You said you haven't seen iPhone people taking the piss out of Androids. He had to do it. He had to do
it. Well, he'll be into the whiskey by now too.
Yeah, he would better. Apple person wouldn't say Samsung because they have a common sense that. No, the thing with our community is, I wish you all went so far away, because I reckon he'd be an absolute pisser to sit down and have a beer with.
Oh, yeah. It would be a lot of fun. And I don't even drink, but I could still laugh.
That's right. I reckon I've said it a few times. I'm sure I've said it publicly. I don't think a perfect phone exists yet. I think the camera system on the Huawei, in my opinion, is the best. It does more than any other phone can do. The operating system on a Huawei, fucking terrible. I think the iOS is probably the best operating system for someone like me who doesn't want to spend all day trying to find out how to change how a widget looks or something. But I think that But if you wanted to do that, I think that the Androids is where it's at. Not many. That's absolutely true, 100%. But I don't think it is inferior. I think it's just different. Sorry, was I going too fast for that just then, Greg? You weren't reading it.
Well, I was. So what I did was I shrunk my window so that you are closer to the camera, so I could look at you and make it look like I'm looking at the camera. But no, just carry on. I did see that one from Ron though. Yeah.
Yep. They're just jealous they can't. I think that's a perfect way to sum up everything to do with photography with these two devices. Most Android guys who want to do that's the other thing. I don't think I've ever seen a comment on any of the even longer reflex, any long exposure videos that I've done where an iPhone user goes, "Oh, I don't want to do that." But by God, I get a lot of Samsung users going, "Who wants to do that anyway?"
Yeah.
Anyway, mind you, Ron, I did a video about those filters, those freewheel filters. I've got to tell you, freewheel filters are the shit, mate. I'm so impressed with them. They just work.
They do look pretty good.
They do good, yeah, and they work well. They've got some other stuff coming, which I can't really talk about yet, but it just works really, really well. And when you've got a product that just works as it's advertised, I like that. The fact that the phone can take the photos that it does enough. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Commodore 64. God. Oh God, if he doesn't drink, man, could you imagine if he did?
Yeah, really.
He'd always be in social jail.
Patricia says Audi is better than BMW.
Oh, you put it in English. Awesome. Same guy. Divided into red and white. Why Android are evil and Apple are good? That's funny. In fact, everyone. I don't think that one is good and one is bad. I think that the brands are the brands. I think that I'm talking about the users of these brands. Like Samsung doesn't sit there and say Apple is. Actually, they do. No, Google does that, don't they?
You know what? Samsung has done some advertisements where they've slammed Apple.
Yeah,
in the past. Yeah, they have.
Mm-hmm. But there's one going on at the moment with. I reckon it's Google. They're doing a whole series of videos at the moment. We shared it on the private chat that we have about a Pixel phone doing something that an iPhone couldn't or something.
I can't remember what that was, but yeah, I remember seeing it.
The fictitious opinion that Android users is bad is not true. I myself. Well, that's great, but you can't change my mind on this. There's the evidence is all there. The only comments that I get that are negative about
not everyone falls into this conversation that we're having.
Of course.
I mean, there are a ton of excellent people out there, great friendly people using Android phones. Now, I'm going to give you... Yeah, there's one.
That's a perfect example. That's taking the piss, by the way. He's not being serious.
Oh, yeah. And we knew that. We knew that as soon as we saw it. No, I'm writing an article, and it's an in-depth look at rehelp. And in this article, this is a little spoiler alert. Where is it now? There it is. Okay, so I'll read this paragraph. I said, there's a friendly but fierce ongoing battle between Android and iPhone for who has the best camera system. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's completely subjective. There are no losers. We're all winners with these things because we use what we like and what makes us happy, period. As you know, for me, it's the iPhone. And the reason I use the iPhone is because there are a lot of choices for photography apps. Oh, what a good time to be a mobile photographer. and that's all I'm going to read. But you know, I've said that before, and I'll keep saying it. It's just, it depends on what you like. And for crying out loud, we don't need to be bashing the other side all the time. You know, we may joke when, you know, you hear of somebody who had an iPhone, say, and they're looking at the Google Pixel or whatever, and oh, you're going to the dark side, like dun 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 dun, 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 like. I mean, but it, you know, I've said that before, and it's a joke. And whoever the person was that I was talking to, they know it's a joke. I mean, it, you know, it was like when I used to be a massive BlackBerry user, and then when I started using iPhones, I had people at work come up to me and say, "Is this true what I'm hearing?" You know, they couldn't believe that I switched. And I said, yeah, it's true, blah, 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 you know. But it's not like there was a fierce rivalry between BlackBerry and Apple back then. I mean, if there was, I don't know anything about it because I don't get involved with that kind of thing. But but you know, it's subjective. It's what you like, and if it's what you like, it's what works for you. It's bloody well fine. And that's all there is to it. Bloody well fine. And that's all there is to it. You know, that I don't know how else I could put it.
Yeah, well, I think you've summed it up really well. Do you see this comment here? I totally agree with what you're saying, mate. 100%. We haven't really, this is not really an iPad sort of thing, but I think when tablets first came out, and it was a Windows thing that came out first, I reckon it was, and then iPhone came out a few years later, and I was working in IT then, and I kind of went, this is what a tablet should be, what the iPad is. Like the other tablets, like the Windows tablets that existed, they were just a computer trying to be on a touchscreen. That was all. Whereas an iPad is a different fish altogether. I think it's a different thing. I don't think I would ever own anything other than an Apple tablet. I think they just work the way they should work. Ron's Astro from Android is 100%. Absolutely. I think he was.
Sure, it is.
Ron is probably. Oh, I reckon he would be the best astrophotographer in our group, in the Facebook group. The guy he's got patience, because trust me, I go out there and I go, nah, I've tried this a number of times and I can't get it to work the way I want it to work. Like that.
Yep.
I'm going back to my iPhone.
But you know what? On that note, though, the iPhone makes it the easiest to do. But 100%. The Android, Samsung, I'm going to say Samsung because I haven't really, I don't recall. Well, I mean the Google Pixel too, but some of those Android phones do it way better than the iPhone.
100%.
Way better.
100%.
And that makes me jealous.
I think the iPhone. Well, that video I did, it's a couple of videos ago, where in my head I was like, this multiple exposure thing from Samsung thing.
Yep.
I thought this has potential because that particular device was pretty bad at the foreground subjects compared to the iPhone. The stars are shitloads better than the iPhone, but you know where I'm going. And I thought I might be able to like adjust the exposure onto this and change the ISO so it's not as grainy and noisy and artifacted, and just couldn't get it to work. And I tried and tried. I could not get it to work. And then to be able to put the iPhone on the tripod and just hit the button, shine the light, and got exactly what I was trying to achieve with the other phone by doing minimal is the difference. The stars weren't as good as the Samsung, but it's, as you say, it's no one's doing it perfectly yet.
No, that's right.
I'd like the iPhone to finally see a good lens, larger focal. Oh yeah. Mate,
for sure. Yeah.
Would. Everybody would. Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things like I'm an Apple user. I've got iPad, MacBook, Mac Studio, iPhones, obviously, watch. I'm an Apple person, and that's not. because I disliked the other one. It's because when I started my creative journey, if you like, with photography, with videography, I used Apple and it worked. So that's what I'm comfortable with. That's what I know works for what I want to do. So unless that changed, I probably wouldn't change.
Yeah.
It,
Now, the tail end of that comment says, and when will RAW appear as a shutter speed of 30 seconds? If it's the iPhone you're talking about, you can do that with other apps, third-party apps, obviously with even longer and re-expose. You have that capability. It's just not, well, I mean, even a 30-second night mode shot, you can have it in Pro RAW.
Pro RAW, absolutely.
So I'm hoping that's what you're talking about there. But anyway, yes, it is possible.
But yeah. I've said so many times, no one's doing it perfectly at the moment. That with this iPhone 15, all the talk about the iPhone 15, we can talk about this in a minute if you like. But everyone's so freaking excited because it's going to have a USB-C. Give me a fucking break. Everyone's been doing that for so long. That's not exciting. It's not groundbreaking. Groundbreaking happened like a decade ago or however long ago it was. It's not groundbreaking. Just stop it.
I think everybody just wants to use one cable all the time instead of to carry
absolutely.
around two.
I'm included in that.
The data transfer speeds are going to be better too. So there is that. I mean, I think it's people who do video are going to be more excited about it than anybody.
Yeah. Well, you're still using a Huawei now, Patricia. And doing
how did Apple cripple Huawei? It wasn't Apple that crippled it, was it?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think this is more of a government thing that happened with Huawei. I remember when I got the Huawei P40 Pro, and it takes amazing photos. In fact, it's probably the best sized phone, weight phone. Like, screen's quite large. It's not very thick. It's a great phone. The camera system is amazing. It can do all that long exposure stuff, star trails, long exposure, water, all that sort of cool light painting, all that from the camera app, and still have a fully manual camera pro mode that is so much more adjustable than even the S23 Ultra. And this is an older phone. But as soon as you put that sucker into Lightroom or any other American bit of software, it just turns to rubbish because Adobe is not allowed to put all of the Huawei raw data into their software, and that's a government thing. It's not an Adobe thing. I asked Russell Brown about this when it first happened. And he was like, "Oh, we'd love to, but we can't because China, America sort of situation." And it was, so I think that might be what he's talking about.
That's shameful, really.
It is. It's. But tell me an aspect of your life that the government doesn't with.
Yeah, really.
It is high praise, but it's well deserved praise, Ron. I think your Astro shots, and I'm dead set serious in this. They're the best in the group, mate. I think you do a bloody good job. Do we need to rehash everything now?
Okay, I'll take me off, and you start in the weather and the morning, evening, and.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Hi, Scott.
That's funny. Make the iPhone easy to use. Absolutely. I used to say to people a few years back now, when family members and stuff would want, I'm going to buy a new computer or whatever, I'd say, go and buy a Mac. I used to work in IT. All the Windows machines that I had, they were Toshibas, they were Aces, and you know what I'm talking about. But they would rarely last more than a year or so. They'd be starting to fall apart. The screen would start twisting around and shit. Keys would be falling off. And then I went and got a MacBook, and I had that thing for I reckon 8 years, and it was still going strong. It's only that the technology and the programs and the apps and stuff were more resource heavy and you couldn't upgrade it. But if you've got to buy, from my point of view, if I had to buy a new MacBook every 8 years versus every 18 months of the other one, to me, it's a no-brainer. So a lot of the family now are just running with Apple products. And I used to say to them, just buy this, get your head around how it works, and it will just work. Like you'll plug stuff in and it'll just work. That's how I used to say, like buy an Apple product because it just works. And this is what Jason's talking about there, I think, is the same sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
The transfer speeds are only going to be faster on the 15 Pro. Are they? I didn't know that.
Well, I would think that the
Are they all coming with
transfer
USB-C?
speeds. Yeah, apparently.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe the regular models are going to be throttled a bit. I don't know. It could be, I guess. Sounds
It's one of
kinda
these things that
ridiculous to me,
we
but-
speculate and speculate and speculate.
Yeah.
And we'll know about it when it comes out. Oh, sorry, when it comes out.
Comes out. Yeah.
It's funny. I've been binging on Casey Neistat at the moment. He did a thing where he went and he made a vlog for every day for a year, and I've been binging on those. And one of the vlogs that he did was going to buy a new case for his iPhone 6. So it was a while ago, obviously.
Yeah.
And he basically complained about this being an ugly cover, and it was, especially on today's standards, it was a pretty ugly cover. But he couldn't get his headphone jack into it because the base of so like if that's the phone here,
Mhm.
the base came out to about here. So it was like
Oh.
hard rubber. So when it dropped, it was like fairly protective.
Yeah.
But because it was so deep, he couldn't get his Beats headphone jack into it.
Oh,
You could probably get the Apple one because it's straight, but the Beats one is like 90 degree, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man.
So I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's kind of an Apple thing, though, isn't it? You use our shit, or you just don't use shit at all.
Yeah.
That's how they were. It's certainly how they were back then. But when they got rid of their headphone jack, yep, I agree. Rocking F 2015, but exactly, that's my point. Like,
Yeah.
and especially if you're taking it from place to place to place to place, I think they just hold up better too. Like is it better built? I'm not sure if that's the right word, but it's better built. The US government's protecting American companies' interests. Huawei repeated it was clear that every other phone brand was lagging behind when it came to photography. Maybe we should probably bring him on one day to talk about that and get demonetized.
Yeah. Thrown in jail.
But I do know it's definitely a government thing, and it would have been all to do with the Chinese did something that the Americans didn't like, and they went, "That's it. You're not going to do this. Here's some sanctions. Get that India, and that'd be it." Yep. And the poor end user like us is going, "But I want to use it."
Yeah.
The regular ones will be. Oh, there you go. That's a bit shit.
And again, it's speculation. It's rumor. I mean,
if it is, yeah. If it is,
but
true,
if it's true, that is a load of crap.
Yeah. He'll say a load of crap because he's Canadian. I'll say it's shit because I'm Aussie and I'm throttling it back. USB-C as a physical stand doesn't determine speed. Look at this guy. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of these things that you just wait and see. I agree with you, Greg. Just wait and see. It's not that far away either.
It is a week and a half.
It's in the next few days. A week and a half, is it? Until it's released, or until
September 12th. It'd be 13th for you.
That's when the launch is.
That's when the announcement is. Yeah, the keynote,
right,
or the event. Yeah.
So they probably won't release until a week after that.
I'm thinking the 22nd. I think is the Friday, the week and a half
20
later.
days.
Or something like that. Yeah.
In 21 days for you.
Yeah. Usually they usually become available like 10 days after the event. Yeah. But iOS 17 will likely come out probably that day.
Oh, yeah. True. So are you going to get one? We haven't discussed this.
Not likely. I seriously doubt it.
You got the 14 Pro Max now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I generally go every 2 years.
Yeah. Had a feeling that was the case. Something about that sung
Yeah, and
familiar, you know?
Dave Podner, he's not getting enough. He's on the 13 Pro, but he's not getting one now either. Like, I think he's every 3 years. I think he upgrades.
Okay.
So him and I will both get them next year.
You'll have to sit there and wait and see what happens.
And the 16, they're saying, is going to be the one to get.
I'm sure they said that about the 12, 13, 14. Actually,
Well,
I don't think
I mean-
anyone said about 13. I don't think the jump between the 12 and the 13 was that big.
Yeah, it wasn't too big, no.
Whose birthday is it? I just saw. Oh, it's your birthday here today. Happy birthday, bearded biker.
Yes, happy birthday.
It's going to be Thunderbolt 2 for the 15th. Yeah, right. I don't know.
You know, I could see the Pro having the faster connection, because that's the one that the photographers and videographers are going to use. They're not going to use the regular iPhone for what they do, and they're the ones that are going to want the faster data transfer speeds, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I could see Apple doing that. First, I said it was a load of crap, but now I could see it. I could see it.
If you had to change your Windows laptop every 12 to 18 months, you were buying the wrong ones. Couldn't reply before. Well, I don't know. I was buying Aces, Toshibas. Oh, what else would there have been?
Dell?
Yeah, I've had Dells before. Dells lasted longer than the others. I think Dells are they were better built back then.
Yeah.
I even had IBM laptops for a while. But they were being used as Lenovo. Yep, that's right. They were being used as like a portable computer. They were being thrown in a bag and taken to other job sites and used on the job and elsewhere. So yeah, that's my experience. China is spying. Nah, Ron. Everyone is spying.
Yeah.
Everyone. Isn't Ron American?
Yes.
You're being spied on, Ron. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's his birthday. USB-C, USB. Yep. That's what it was. Oh, we're just reading through all these happy birthdays. Who would have known that people would have been wishing the bearded biker a happy birthday?
Yeah.
This is the first time, it just dawned on me, the first time in I don't know how long that the whole admin team is watching the stream and chatting. Everyone's here. Dale's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scott's here. Devo's here. And we're here.
Yeah.
There you go. Scott.
Not
I feel dirty.
what that means.
Yeah. I feel dirty now. I feel a little bit violated as well.
See, I told you he was into the whiskey.
So, have you been keeping your finger on the pulse as far as rumors for this 15 goes?
A little bit. I try not to let the rumors weigh too heavy in my conversations, because sometimes the rumors have flown around and absolutely nothing has come true. So
100%.
what happens in the admin group stays in the admin group. Unless it's on YouTube. But
I reckon every year, and because we don't usually talk, we might talk about it in this sort of context, and it's purely speculation. I reckon if you went and looked at our live streams a year ago, we'd probably be sitting here saying the same thing as we're saying right now.
Yeah,
that you'd be looking a lot younger a year ago.
Yeah, really. With about a half a dozen fewer gray hairs,
and I'd look like that.
Yeah.
And I think last year we were talking about I reckon there was talk last year about a telescopic camera then.
Yeah. Oh, it's been the last,
periscope,
at least
I
I think the last 2 years, I think it's been speculated.
Yep. I think
And if they
last
don't
year
come
they
out
were
with
even
a,
talking
if
about
they don't come out with one this year, then they need a slap in the ass.
I was going to say, what are you going to do, Greg McMillan? You're going to get an Android?
If they don't come out with one this year, I'm not buying one till next year. Ron says I can't unsee certain comments. That's good.
What's Madry? £12 for 12 bottles. It's got to be top shelf.
It must
stuff
be a beer.
If it's $1 a bottle. I've needed it. Wait, what? I don't know.
I said if they didn't come out with a periscope zoom, they need a slap in the ass.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thinking, where's he going?
Listen to you, the Aussies saying sorry to the Canadians.
Hey,
hey.
Oh, I should have worn my Canadian soccer cap. I forgot.
Oh yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the next video where you change caps every scene.
Well, you're the only one. I don't think. Did you even notice, or did I tell you about it?
You told me about it because I was too daft to notice.
There was a video I did for those,
but that was good.
Probably a year ago, I'd say.
Oh yeah, it was a while ago.
A year ago, where every cut scene that I had, and I do that a bit, is a different hat on, and no one noticed. It's like, bloody hell! I went to all this effort, and no one even noticed.
Yeah.
Greg, don't buy one.
Yeah.
You'll break them if you don't buy
it. Yeah, really.
So there's not been too much really around the camera stuff as far as the quote unquote leaks go. Some they're talking about a periscope with 6 times zoom. It's like,
I've heard 6 and I've heard 10, so I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's 10 for those who are going to get one. The one thing, I mean, the rumors are coming out about the 16 already, and it's just brutal. The day I'm going to take pictures of the moon, I'm turning on post approval in the group.
That's funny. And he will too.
Yeah.
I'd like to tell you that, no, I'll stop him, but he just does what he wants in that group. He's all over it. That's funny.
But one thing I've heard about the 16 is, how did they word that? Like a layered, stacked sensors.
All right. Yep.
I have no idea what advantage that's going to be, but who knows? I mean, I was talking to Mark Sadowski. He was one of the co-founders of Tiny Shutter, the podcast that I kind of got started on, and he said there are some mirrorless cameras that have stacked sensors in them. So, but I don't know what the advantage is of them.
Sure.
But one thing I did hear about the 15 is that they're all going to get 48 megapixel sensors.
Yeah.
The whole lineup.
Yep. Which is great. I don't think that the numbers matter that much, to be honest. That's my opinion. I think when it comes to photography, I don't think that the tech matters too much, except for really astro and macro. Everything else, I think you're going to get a pretty bloody good photo of a 12 megapixel camera as you are out of a 48 megapixel camera. You can take a shit photo with a 48 and a great photo with a 12.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I used to see that all when I was teaching photography, when I was running astrophotography workshops, and people would turn up with their $6,000-$7,000 camera and not have a freaking clue, and then someone's turned up with a Canon 70D with their kit lenses and just knock them out of the water. It's like, having the biggest and the best doesn't make you any better. So I don't think the numbers matter that much, except for in some of the stuff that we do here on this channel with the astro and the macro. I think that matters. Yeah.
I think one thing
Anywho.
that I can almost guarantee is that anybody that wants the 15 is probably going to get one without having to wait for months.
Yeah.
Because Apple has apparently bought every chip made by, was it TSMC, the chip maker,
Oh yeah.
for the next year. They have
Okay.
said we get all the chips. So I mean, there's going to be boatloads of iPhones probably on the way right now, because we all know they're going to be
Yeah.
making them probably in July, right?
Yeah.
And you know, there's going to be pallets and pallets of boats or of iPhones on these ships, and
Yep.
they're coming across the ocean right now to, you know, for North American users anyway. And you know, so I think the availability scene is going to be good, not like,
Yeah, I think
you
so
know,
too.
last year or the year before. And I don't
They are
know
going
if
to be
they're
more
going to stagger
expensive,
the
are they?
release or not. Pardon?
They're going to be more expensive.
I'm hearing that the Pro is going to be another, like an extra $100, but I'm also seeing that there's possibly going to be one called the Ultra. Now, what the heck, like the Pro and the Ultra. So I don't know if there's going to be a
Yeah.
big difference between them, or maybe it's just storage capacity or what. I don't know.
I think the difference from what I've been, it may, none of this shit may come true, but what I've read is the 15 and the 15 Pro, but the Pro Max would be the Ultra. That's what I've read as far as Ultra goes. It's just the bigger one. Is all.
Yeah.
Should we look at some photos
Yeah, sure.
before we close out the? Oh, wait there. I want variable zoom and variable aperture. That's all. I don't think
There was a Samsung that had a variable aperture one time.
Yep, one time. They don't do it anymore.
No, because I don't know how well it worked. I don't think it worked very well.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think it's going to happen again because it wasn't good. Not only allows more light to the sensor, but eliminates the rolling. Are you talking about the layered sensor? Don't know how a layered sensor.
Oh, maybe the stack sensor. That makes sense.
Why? What does it? How does it more light to the sensor if it's stacked? I don't get that. I get the rolling shutter, Bizzo, but I don't get.
And I would think that would only really apply for video, would it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see we slided in what features the iPhones are going to get.
Yes.
Oh. Next year, that's it.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah. See it? See the title of this live stream?
Yeah. But in Patrika's defense, he's not totally wrong.
Don't defend him.
He's not completely wrong.
No idea. I copied and pasted from it.
Oh. Just when you almost look intelligent.
See, I'm thinking I'm going to have to ask you about this in the private chat that we have, because I don't know how that works. I want to understand this. I thought I'm going to go.
Makes you wonder how he did his exams in high school.
Like this.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we do it. Let's look at the photos before we head out of here, because it's it's full moon season, so we've already covered that.
Full moon Friday.
Full moon Friday. This bloke.
Well, it is here anyway.
He's doing this a lot. It's just, what can I say? You live in a great place. That's all.
Yeah.
There's no
talent. That's so dreamy.
It's just a lovely place. That I don't know. You're still watching there, Dale? I'm not sure. That this Julie Young that's there. It's actually my auntie, or Sarah's auntie, lives up in Newcastle, where you are. I invited her to the group a while ago. She likes to take photos, and because she's from Newey, and Dale's doing all these hyperlapses and stuff around Newey, I thought I should.
She's probably been in one.
Invite. She may have been. Yeah, these were cool. I remember seeing these. Yeah. Is he in the hot tub? Look out, Devo.
I would say so.
Devo could go hop back in the shower, take you and I with him, and then we could talk about Jason Peltz in his hot tub. Yeah. I think Jason's been on the show before, eh? I'm almost certain. Yeah, early days he came on the show.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a lawyer from memory. So I guess he's a nice guy. I wouldn't say anything otherwise.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, there you go. That's kind of making my point. I'm thinking the foreground of this looks really neat.
Yeah.
I reckon that's a double shot, is it? First attempt, image blending. There you go. Because I'm looking at the outline here. I'm thinking that doesn't look like it's from the single photo. Did you see these?
No, I didn't.
AI is real. It's got a lightsaber for crying out loud.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Oh, yeah. What do we want to look at?
Let's see here.
I reckon that's Andy's. Some good long exposures. Like you guys killed the long exposure stuff here.
Yeah.
Andy's
phenomenal. Huh?
He's gone down with COVID. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was. I think it started on him about a week ago or so.
Damn. I think he's. He'd be like you got the Jason Stevenson.
Yep.
Stevens. I don't want to say his name wrong. He's kind of like the black and white long exposure man. You're the macro man, and Andy I think is the long exposure man. But old bearded bike is giving him a run for the money. See, he's out of his rut now. He was in a rut a little while ago.
Nice to see, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's got 13 Pro. You going to get a new one there, Scott? You going to get a 15? Almost as only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Oh, yeah. And nuclear warheads.
That's funny. That's funny.
I always heard it as close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warheads.
Oh, that's hilarious. I haven't seen that. I haven't heard that before. Sorry. That's quite cool.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's moody. S22. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I like the edit.
Yeah. 100%. That's quite neat too. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I reckon. Yeah. Where is this? I reckon this is Australia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is... I haven't seen it for a while, but this is a building that's... It's kind of iconic for doing long exposures like this, but I can't think of where it is. I'll have to have a look, see what I can find. It might actually... I wonder if it says it here. In Perth. There we go.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. He's a bit of a gun photographer, this fellow, as well. I see him a fair bit in the group. He does a good job.
And just for the record, Scott says, unsure on the 15, needs to bring something worth updating over.
It's a USB-C, mate.
Yeah.
Go and lay down a couple of grand for USB-C. Yeah.
So, Scott, if it had a periscope zoom, would that be it?
And would six times zoom on a periscope be enough?
Yeah.
These are really neat photos too.
Yeah.
But the dynamic range in these images is pretty bloody impressive.
Yeah, that's
very cool. Where is this place? The Gibson Garage. Oh, wow.
Oh.
That's very cool.
In Nashville.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, it actually is a proper vault too. Look at this.
Wow.
That's very cool. Anything that you want to see here, Greg?
Could go down a bit more. Who
Oh, and
took
for those who don't know, we clocked over 75,000 subs on the channel this week. I didn't actually know. Ron Devo told me. It's like, oh, did I? It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Let's have a look at that
iPhone.
That bee there on the yellow flower. Yeah.
Dark side exposure. Oh, he's a Canadian like you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good shot.
It's not bad at all. There was someone else who did where was that bee photo? Or maybe you might have shared it on that group. I'm not sure. There was a bee photo that was like exceptional. And I was like, did that really come from a phone? This is not it, by the way. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't think that came out of a phone. Doesn't matter. I don't think it's in our group anyway.
If I didn't put it in the group, I should. You talking about the one I did?
No, it wasn't you.
Oh, okay. Because I took some.
There was one that
on sunflowers.
There was one that. Yeah, there's a few around at the minute, but there was one that I looked at. And I was like, "There's no way that was taken on a phone, especially not without some seriously good glass on the front of it."
Yeah,
it's not bad. Scott Baker, damn it! Don't want to give him too much praise.
Yeah.
He won't be able to get his bike helmet on.
Yeah.
Flutterby's.
Yeah.
This guy's a bit of a gun photographer. This is the same guy with the guitars, eh?
From the guitars, yeah.
Yep. Scott Baker again. Yeah, he's no longer in a rut, that Scott Baker fella. He's taking good photos. See, now that to me looks like a phone macro. These look like phone macros.
Yeah.
And that one that I was talking about, it was just ridiculous how good it was. There's a place not far from here called Lake Tyrrell, and it's probably, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 acres in size, and the water is about an inch deep the whole way across.
Oh, really?
So it's like a 40-acre mirror. So I'll be going up there once this moon phase finishes. I'm going to go up there and do some of that steel wool fire spinning. I've done a photo up there in the past, and it's a ripper thing because it's like the fire spinning, but a perfect reflection of it underneath as well.
Oh, that is going to be neat.
Yeah, it will be cool. I came from US. He did too. True too. That's exactly what I do, mate. I just have a wireless charger that I use. I very rarely plug my phone into anything besides Apple CarPlay. 10 times, yeah.
Here's one the bee that I was thinking of that I thought I shared, but maybe I didn't.
This isn't the one that I'm talking about, but even that,
no.
that's ridiculous. That's pretty bloody impressive for a phone, you know?
Now, that being said, I cropped in a little bit, and even this is a cropped image a little bit, but it's maybe only 25-30% cropped.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a farm not too far from here, really, but about a 15-minute drive or so, and they had a field, 8.5 acres, with 200,000 sunflowers, and they had a path or a trail that you can go through the sunflower patch, and that's where I shot that, and then took a whole bunch of other ones, obviously too. But I'll post them in the group. It was a really cool place.
Oh, shall we wrap it up, mate?
All right, sounds good.
Very good. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Next week, or next live stream, we've got. I've actually double booked a little bit. I've got to change a little bit around, but we've got some cool guests coming on in the next 2 live streams, and you'll probably know both of them, to be honest. If you watch my stuff for Astro, you'll definitely watch his other guys. And if you're an iPhone user, you will definitely have heard of these other guys. So we'll talk about it when the time comes a bit closer. You have a great day, mate, or great
All right.
evening.
Yeah, it's turning into evening here shortly.
Yeah, it's turning into daytime now.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks for everybody for joining in, and we'll see everybody in the next one.
Okay, catches.